All right. Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're going to do the gold-ribbed hare's ear. And I'm using a Firehole 718 hook in a size 14. I love these hooks. They're just some of the best hooks out there. I tie a lot of flies on those things. We're also using a tungsten bead in a size 7/64. So I'm using gold. I'm using gold. Show the label side. I'm using gold brassy size wire. And I have used a little bit of green chartreuse brassy size wire. I'm using 0.020 lead wire. And dubbing, it has a hare's ear, hare's mask dubbing with a little bit of wigglies in it. And the hook with the gold bead, going to go in that vise. I'm also using a pheasant tail feather, but I'm getting a new one out because I don't like what's left on that one. So I'm just going to get one more out here. Yeah, that ought to work. It's used, doesn't have much more left on it, but it'll work okay for now. Okay, so we're going to start with the hook with the bead. We're going to take some of the gold wire, and you're going to have to, I'm a little crippled tonight, as you can see, and it's really hampering my twisting dubbing and about everything else, so stay with me. And my peripheral neuropathy is kicking up tonight too, and I'm getting really bad finger cramps. So about 6-7 wraps on that. We're going to use our fingernails, break that off, smooth it down. And then we're going to push it up against the bead, like so. Wrap the rest of this around. There. And that holds the bead straight in, so it's not going to angle on us. I'm using 140 ultra thread in olive. So we're going to start in just behind that wire, and we're going to wrap that wire down. And then we're going to go back. With this hook, it's not as clear where that bend starts, so it's right about in there is where I'm going to go. Build just a little bit of a conical body here. Now we're going to strip off some pheasant fibers. And I'm going to take about this many of those pheasant fibers. Trim them off with the tail. Kind of bunch them together just a little bit. And we want a tail that's going to be about the hook length. So we're going to measure that out to about right in there. And then that's going to go back to where my thread stops. We want to keep this on the top of the hook. So we're going to pull that up a little bit. Technique I've been showing you lately. Now we're going to take and we're going to wrap these up to the base of the lead. Right there. Those are going to stay there. Now we're going to get a little bit of gold wire. We're going to wrap that wire in along the back to about right there. Now, I'd lost my wax for a few days, but I finally found it this morning. I'm going to wax that thread a little bit. And here's where you can laugh at me, because here's where I try to do what I do with my left finger, but with my right finger, and it's a little on the clumsy side. Take a strip of dubbing. This is a buggy fly, so don't worry about everything being nice and neat and slim. Although it would be a little neater with my left finger. Back to the top. Now we wrap good at the very tail. Good wrap. Then we wrap all the way up to the base of that lead. Uh-oh. What happened to my wire? Well, my wire is gone. I don't know what I did with it. Fell out. Well, I got to go back. Can't be a gold ribbed hares here without the gold rib. So we're going to take this back out. Tie that wire in again. A little more sturdy this time. Still there, right?
Still there. I can see it.
I don't know what happened to it. Okay, a little bit more dubbing. A little bit more wax base. The wax helps hold that dubbing into place better. We get a good wrap. Again at the tail. And we can wrap up the hook. Pull a little of this away. All right, now we're going to counter wrap the gold wire 4 or 5, maybe 6 times. We counter wrap so it lays more on top of the dubbing instead of sinking down into the dubbing. Provides just a little bit of that gold sparkle for the fish to see. Couple wraps here, 4 or 5 wraps of string, then we helicopter the wire off. So you can see the wire in there pretty well. Now we're going to go back and prepare for some more dubbing. Thorax is going to be just a little bit larger than the abdomen. Yuck. I got a bunch of fur on my tongue. Now we're going to hold the pheasant fibers back. And we're going to wrap this pretty generously up here at the thorax, maybe not quite so generously. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of flatten out these pheasant feathers a little bit so it forms a sheet. We're going to pull that over the top of the hook, being very careful not to rotate it or sort of scramble it up. One nice loose turn, second nice loose turn, and we can tighten it up a little bit. See how it forms a wing case right up in here? 3 or 4 wraps of thread, then we're going to pull that back, 3 or 4 more wraps of thread ahead of it, and then we're going to trim it off. We're going to whip finish. And there you go. There is the hare's ear.
So even with that lead weight that you threw in behind the bead, it's not going to swim hook up. It's going to still be hook down.
Yeah, actually, this will go hook down.
Okay.
Because
more or less the nose of it will be down.
The weight is all central to the wire.
Okay.
The weight's all central to the wire. However, the weight is in the front of the front. So when it does go and when you jig it, it's going to dive up and down a little bit.
Alrighty then.
And a little bit of experimenting. You can modify this quite a bit if you want to. And I don't know where here they are. This is another one I did, only I used a dark thorax. This one is an olive thorax. The same dubbing I used on the other one, but I put in some orange rubber legs on that as well. So you can do a lot of different things with this. And then I did another one with a dark brown thorax. But again, these are variations on the same thing, the gold-ribbed hare's ear. So you can do a lot of different things with them. But there you go, gentlemen.
Looks good.